Who am I at? What am I doing? What are we doing? Oh. Oh, that's right. Oh, hold up. Let me,
This will be a day long remembered.
find a place to chill. So, I gotta talk about some shit real quick. And what that's going to be damn, hold up. Sorry. I am like devouring this food right now. Anyways, guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about Maul Shadow Lord. The series. So, I got to break this down. Because I watched the show. And when this show was first announced, I didn't really give a shit. I didn't really care. And I was kind of like, oh great, here we go, let's see what this is all about. And I basically at this point I have lost faith in Star Wars, right? So because look, whether you're against Dave or you're with Dave, or you think he's gonna save Star Wars, the truth is at the end of the day he probably isn't, right? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Kathleen Kennedy's gone, Bob Iger's gone. All these Disney CEOs are starting to change. They're starting to have new power come in. New heads, new suits are coming in to run the company. But is that going to change anything? Is that going to change the politics? Is that going to change the company of Disney? Is Disney going to change their brand? Are they going to go from being a company that's focused on identity politics and political agendas, and we need to get our point across, and we need to check off this box, and we need to check off this box, and we need to do this, and no, there needs to be a black person in this so that we don't look racist. No, there needs to be an Asian person in this so that this doesn't look racist. No, there needs to be a trans, gay, bisexual, non-binary. Grogu needs to be non-binary, right? You know what I'm saying? Can't even speak, can't even talk, doesn't even have he doesn't even have a character arc. And people are already talking about Grogu needs to be like bisexual. What are you? He's a fucking child. What are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? He's a baby. Excuse me, I almost choked on my fucking egg muffin. He's a baby. So, I've pretty much given up on Disney Star Wars. You know, when it first got sold back in like fucking 2012 or whatever that was, I already didn't give a fuck. I was like, whatever, I'm just checked out. When I got that news back in like middle school, I think it was middle school, because I remember the Clone Wars being on in middle school. That's when they brought back Darth Maul. And look, I grew up with the Clone Wars. You guys know how I feel about that on this channel. You know how I feel about that show. That was the only Star Wars content that there was from Lucas after the prequels. So I grew up with the prequels because I was born in 1999, literally the year Phantom Menace came out. Then I got to see Attack of the Clones when I was like 2 or 3. I think I was 3. And then I got to see Revenge of the Sith when I was 6. Perfect timing. Now these are fucking, this is a dark trilogy for a kid to fucking watch, but because it's downhill from there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching Anakin get burnt like a fucking kebab at like 6 years old. I tell this story all the time. My relationship with Star Wars. There's previous videos on the channel. You can go back and watch them. But I've always stayed true to the fact that I do like Clone Wars. Both. I like both of them. Okay. I like both of them. Yeah, Lucas sold Star Wars back in 2012. I was in middle school back then. So, it was like Halloween, the day before Halloween, October 30th, 2012. So, like I said, the only thing Star Wars that you were able to watch were the original 6 films and the Clone Wars. That's it. And then you had the Gendy series too, as well, the Samurai Jack one. So that was a part of the multimedia project. That was the stuff they were releasing before Revenge of the Sith. So before Revenge of the Sith came out, George talks to Gendy, who's the creator of Samurai Jack, and he's like, "Hey man, can we do some Clone Wars animation shit? Because we're going to be doing comics, we're going to be doing novels, we're going to be doing toys." And I have all those toys. I have all the Gendy Clone Wars toys. I have all the Clone Wars comics that focus on Quinlan Voss, Asajj Ventress, Dirge, you know, all that shit. I'll tell you guys about. I've told you about Ash Red Het, shit like that. Very focused on Ayla Sakura. And towards the end of the Republic comics, it fuses into the Dark Times, which is when he becomes Vader and blah blah blah. Anyways, so there's the Multimedia Clone Wars project, which it took place after Attack of the Clones and before Revenge of the Sith. That's the Gendy series. That's the cartoon, the mini shorts, and the comics and the novels and all that shit. Then there's the 2008 Clone Wars. This was originally supposed to be an expansion of the Gendy series. It was originally supposed to just continue and take place. It's supposed to be canon to that series. It's supposed to just take place after that series, or in between, or whatever. It was originally supposed to just be a continuation. This is the series that would later be dubbed, and the fan base would basically call it TCW, The Clone Wars. Because Star Wars Clone Wars was the Gendy series. So the fan base would go on to call this one The Clone Wars, because that's what it was called, Star Wars The Clone Wars. Now, the reason why I still like Clone Wars, and I only like up to season 6, because it leaves it on that's the season where it goes it kind of wraps shit up, even though it doesn't. Because originally, here's the problem that I have with Clone Wars, is that Ahsoka was supposed to die. But guess what? She didn't. And we have a whole series based off of her after Return of the Jedi. So, my problem with Dave Filoni, my little problem with the Clone Wars, is that he never killed off Ahsoka. So when Disney said, oh, we're doing Clone Wars Season 7, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, alright, cool, I guess. So I watch it, and then she's fighting Maul on Mandalore and all this other shit, and I'm like, this is you know, this is hilarious. She was never supposed to even survive. She survives Order 66, she gets away, Rex takes his chip out, you know. I never cared for Season 7. The Bad Batch episodes are okay. The Mortez sisters, whatever the fuck that was, those 4 episodes, that was dog shit. Where it's just Ahsoka fucking around with 2 twins. That was just dumb. And then the last 4 episodes, like, I go back and watch them, and it's like, they totally contradict Revenge of the Sith. Like, they totally, like, they take place during Revenge of the Sith, and it's not even congruent. And it's like, if all this shit was going on, don't you think Anakin would have second guessed turning to the dark side? Don't you think he would have at least... You know what I mean? I don't know. People like to go, oh, this is canon. It doesn't feel canon. It doesn't feel like it connects. Go back and read the Labyrinth of Evil and the Revenge of the Sith novelization. Those are canon. Labyrinth of Evil was written by James Luceno, who wrote Darth Plagueis. And then Revenge of the Sith was written by Matthew Stover. And George Lucas literally signed off on Revenge of the Sith. The novelization, meaning it's canon. It's the canon script. Like, it's just an extension of the script. So, read those 2 books. Those are canon. To me, anyways. To me, they're canon. Not Clone Wars Season 7. Because what is Clone Wars Season 7? It's basically Filoni taking his little character that he created and making a fan film with her. Of her surviving the events of Order 66. And here's the problem that I have with Disney Star Wars as well. Order 66 has been done to death. They cannot get away from it. Order 66 showed up in Obi-Wan Kenobi with Reva. It was a flashback. Reva survived it, and it looked like shit. It looked like fucking low quality budget. When you go back and watch it from the movie compared to the Kenobi series, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? One looks like it was filmed in a broom closet, and the other one looks like a major Hollywood production. Same thing with Mandalorian Season 3 when they showed Grogu's backstory. Oh, Grogu was in the Jedi Temple in Order 66. Oh, that's great. Kid was sitting in a fucking broom closet and Anakin was killing younglings and shit, and he just walked by, huh? Didn't fucking sense him, didn't nothing, right? Grogu just got away with fucking Ahmed Best. And yeah, they just got away easily. Right? That pisses me off. Not to mention, I ain't even hyped for Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't even care. I hope it fucking bombs, to be honest. And it's tracking that it is probably gonna bomb, so it is most likely gonna tank. And I'm all here for it. So, because that whole fucking show, that's going based off of merchandising. The whole reason Grogu was created was because he's not even a character. Like Yoda, I was watching a video of this the other day. Somebody was saying, like, Yoda's an actual fucking guy. Like, he's an actual character with fucking, like, actual, like, story. Like, when you show up on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back, Yoda's there to, like, spit some shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, the Force is the... What the fuck does he say again? The Force is what binds us. It penetrates us. It surrounds us. Crush! Rock! I'm a huge cock! Or something. He says something like, you know, judge me by my size. I'm 6 inches. But, like, he's there, he's spitting shit to Luke. That's his old character. He's a wise old Jedi master. He's ancient as fuck. He's on this planet that's like literally the living force. You got creatures everywhere, forest, trees, swamp, water, all this crap, right? He's just chilling. Grogu's what? What is Grogu? Has he even said a word? No! He has yet to even speak. He has yet to spit a fucking word. He hasn't said shit. Ooh, I got gas. He hasn't said shit. He's a merchandising tool. That's all he is. He's a money-making merchandising tool. That's it. He is not... Hold on, let me pause this real quick. Let me go to options. He's not an actual character.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Let me just turn this shit down all the way. Alright. Yeah, that's good. We're good. But he's not an actual character, guys. He's just this thing that the Mandalorian stumbles across. And he's like, you know, he is 100 years old. Or whatever the fuck he says. He can't even talk. He's a baby Yoda. Okay. And that's the term everybody was using when he first came out. When he was first shown. Oh, baby Yoda! Baby, oh, he's so cute. Now nobody finds him cute anymore. Now nobody thinks he's adorable. Because he hasn't grown up. He hasn't spoke. He's still a fucking baby. He has no character arc. He's literally just sitting in the fucking background like a fucking inanimate object. Now nobody wants to buy Grogu Funko Pops? Nobody wants to buy the Grogu plushies? Nobody wants the Mandalorian and Grogu Burger King meal? Oh wait, because nobody cares anymore. Nobody gives a shit. So I've kind of given up on Disney Star Wars. Because it has just been release after release of just shit content. They ruined the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Gave it an insanely low budget. They took two of my favorite actors from the prequels, Hayden and Ewan. And they destroyed their characters. They destroyed Vader and Obi-Wan. Made the whole fucking show about Reva. And then they... You know, were talking about this whole thing. Then they started a race war and all this other bullshit. Saying, oh, well, if you don't like the character of Reva, it's because you're fucking racist. You have something wrong with you. They don't like the show because they have something wrong with them. Then they made the fucking actress who played Reva, what's her name? Mogris Ingram, whatever the fuck. Look, I don't hate your guts, sweetheart, okay? Like Han said, I don't hate your guts, sweetheart. I ain't got nothing against you. I don't like the show because it's complete dog shit. The acting shit, the production shit, the way it's shot shit. I don't care. Reva had potential to be an actually decent character, but the problem is, you work for Disney Star Wars. So you're gonna get the same treatment that John Boyega got with the sequels. Because that was the same shit with that. Well, I'll be right back, guys. So, here's how it plays out. When the sequels come out, John Boyega's like, yeah, what's going on with my character? Why isn't nobody liking me? It's because they're racist, John. John, it's because the Star Wars fans are racist. Later, you'd go on to find out, oh wait, people just don't like the sequels. So they're racist, sexist, blah 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 blah. They don't like Rey. They don't like black people. They don't like this. They don't like that. It's their fault. Then you'd go on to realize, oh wait, no, it's not. Oh wait, the sequels were actually dog shit. They actually did not have a fucking plan, right? Then you get all this other stuff coming. Oh, well, they liked Rogue One, blah, 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 blah. Go back and watch Rogue One. It's just a fucking dumbass female story. Like, it's just literally just some chick who doesn't know what she's doing. And she just stumbles onto a rebellion. Like, she just ends up meeting Cassian Andor. And then he's got to get his own show, of course. Yeah, you know, I'm tired of people with the whole political bullshit where they're like, oh, Andor's awesome. Andor's the best Star Wars ever because it's so much like modern politics. It's so much like fucking the modern political climate we're in. Like they want to compare it to what's going on in America. Look, we get it. You don't like Trump. We get it. Stop comparing Andor to fucking modern day politics. I'm getting tired of it. When I go to when I want to watch Star Wars. Okay, I'm done eating and drinking for the rest of the stream. When I watch Star Wars, I want to escape. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to a galaxy far, far away. When I was a kid, that's what I did when I watched the originals, prequels, the Clone Wars, shit like that, is it gave me an escape from the real world. Back when the original Clone Wars show came out, back in 2008, guess what? That's when shit was really bad. For me, anyways, for my family. My dad lost his job, the housing bubble happened, the stock market crashed, everything went fucking plummeted to shit. To shit. The economy got fucking crazy, got pretty bad. You know, I don't even remember. Were you born by then? Yeah, you were born by then. That has nothing to do with it, but you know, you got my mom and dad were literally like struggling. My dad lost his job. They gotta support 2 kids. Then they gotta try to keep a roof over their head. Then they gotta try to keep vehicles. They're pretty sure all kinds of shit happened. So, you know, they were dealing with like all kinds of shit. I remember I had to fucking hide my shit because I thought the IRS or whoever was gonna come and take it. You know? But, yeah, it was like the dark times. But, anyways, this shit kept me, you know, away from all that. It kept me in like a positive mood, a positive outlook and everything like that back when Lucas owned it. Then of course you had the games, you know, back then, and then they all got canceled. The canceled Darth Maul game, the canceled Star Wars Battlefront 3, 1313. I mean, I could go on, the list goes on. Force Unleashed 3. So many games got canceled. So many people lost their jobs when Disney bought it. And Bob Iger, he didn't care about the story. None of them gave a shit about the scripts that George wrote. None of them cared about the story, continuing the stories, making the sequels, making these projects that George had laid out. They didn't care. They just wanted to make money. When Star Wars came back, when they did Episode 7, they were just like, let's just shell out a movie so we can get money as fast as possible. Because that's all it is. It's a cash grab. So the sequels sucked. Those bombed ass. Those are all trash. Those are garbage. And then they start coming out with all this other shit. You know, they come out with a whole bunch of other stuff that you're like, why? Why? What are we doing here? I'm just gonna look up a list of all the Disney Star Wars stuff. So, a lot of it happened, a lot of it didn't. A lot of it got canceled, you know, the Lando thing, that got canceled. Rogue Squadron, that got canceled. New Rangers of the Republic, that got canceled. You know, there's so much shit that has been canceled that it's like, I don't even... But all these shows have been dog shit. Like, people are like, Dave's gonna save Star Wars, he's gonna save the day. No, he's not. He was behind The Acolyte, he was behind Andor, he was behind Ahsoka, he was behind The Mandalorian, he was behind the Book of Boba Fett, he was behind the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, he was behind Skeleton Crew, he was behind all these shows. The list goes on. And other than this new Maul show, which supposedly he didn't really even work on, he's doing a lot of the press for it. Like, he's doing a lot of interviews and shit, even though he wasn't really, you know, and his name's on it for some reason, but a lot of people are saying he didn't even fuck it, like, he didn't even do anything, like, he just sat in the background and was like, do this. Basically like a Kojima type scenario. So, and then you've had all these other animated ones that have come out. You've had Rebels, that was ass. By the time that came out, Disney already bought it, and they were looking for a new animated show to put on Disney XD, and I was already in high school, and I had already stopped caring about Star Wars after that point, because the Clone Wars had ended. Basically, I had the Clone Wars ripped out of my fucking hands, and basically, like, just fucking, like, when George sold it, it was basically like having something you love ripped from you, and then just fucking sold to like a slaver, kind of like he said. You know, I kind of took these things and I sold them to white slavers. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of what you did, because that's what Disney is. But then they'll claim, no, we're not racist, but it's the fans. The fans are racist. Okay, you go with that, okay? Because every time there's a character of color in these fucking Star Wars shows, they always have to fucking come out on social media and say that the fans are racist and they have to start a fucking war because nobody wants to watch the fucking show. Oh, well, they're just weird. They're just racist. They just don't like black characters. No, we don't like your shows. They suck. They're ass. We don't like your characters. They're poorly written. They're dog shit. Or they just don't exist, like the little fucking green Muppet that has no words coming out of his mouth. Or the fucking dumbass guy who keeps getting political with his little fucking Mandalorian mask, and he's not even behind the mask. He doesn't even wear the suit. It's fucking someone else. It's a stunt double. He just does a voiceover because he's a pussy. I am the Mandalorian. This is the way. You know, I can do that. I can do that with the fucking water bottle. Have you ever seen a Jedi? Wait, that sounds good. This is the way. You know what I'm saying? Grogu. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard. It's not hard to get in a fucking voice acting booth. Voice actors do it all the time. But like when they... Look, when he sold Star Wars, man, it was like somebody taking like your dog, right? Like your lifelong pet. And then they just shoot it right in front of you. And it was like, that was it after that. Like, you're just like depressed. You're like, you're done. You're checked out. You're checked out. So when Rebels came out, I just didn't give a shit anymore. I stopped caring. And... you know, then they brought Thrawn into it, and you're like, why is there an EU character that they don't even consider canon? They just considered it Legends at that point. They're like, the books aren't canon. They're just they're in their own universe. They're Legends. They're beneath the Disney canon. But let's bring Thrawn into the fucking Rebels series. Let's have Dave Filoni take a fucking character that he didn't even create. It was created by a whole nother guy, an author, called Timothy Zahn, who phenomenally wrote the character, created the character, should get all the credit for the character. They met with him like one time, and they're like, hey Zahn, we're gonna use your character, thanks. That's it. And then they used him in the live-action Ahsoka show, and he looked like Blue Elon Musk, and he was dog shit. Was not even the Thrawn that is nowhere close to the one from the books. So they're like, hey Zahn, and then Dave was like, I thought it would be really good if we met with Timothy Zahn, and we you know, we took his character and we brought him into canon and da 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 and blah 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 blah. You know, George created a toy box. And you could take toys out of the toy box and play with it. Didn't he say some shit at some convention where they're like, hey, you gonna bring in Mara Jade too? And he's like, why don't you play with the toys I gave you? You know, there's a toy box full of toys. And like, it's like, everybody wants to go with another toy. Why don't you just play with the toys I have for you? Nobody wants to play with Sabine Wren, Dave. Nobody wants to play with Ezra Bridger, Dave. Nobody cares about your fucking characters, Dave. Nobody cares about the characters you've created. Nobody wants to play with Kanan Jarrus. Nobody wants to play with Hera Syndulla. Nobody wants to play with Zeb, who's going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and he looks like shit because the CGI is ass, and he's in live action, so he looks like a fucking... I don't even know what he looks like. He looks like a fucking human dog. You know what I'm saying? He looks worse than Chewbacca because it's not a fucking costume. It's just CGI. Nobody wants to play with the Mandalorian, Dave. Nobody wants to play with Grogu. Nobody cares about those characters, Dave. Why don't you just play with the toys I gave you? You're just taking character, and then these other characters like Thrawn, that's an existing character. That's not your character. You didn't create Thrawn, so now you're going to take a character you didn't create, and then you're going to have a bastardization of him that's not even accurate. So, and this will all come full circle because this is what he's doing now with the Maul series. And it's like all the other Disney Star Wars animations have been, you know what I'm saying? Bad Batch was meh. That was just them trying to drag out Clone Wars as much as possible. They're like, let's do clones during the dark times. And it's like, whatever, I don't fucking care. It's like, by that point, I'm tired of the Order 66 shit, and I'm tired of the clones having, like, after Order 66, they just all rebel. Like, now they're all, like, good. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them are, like, taking their chips out, and they're like, woo! They're having themselves a little clone rebellion and shit. This didn't happen. It never happened in the original expanded universe. The clones, they just got tired of fucking cloning them, so they filtered them out with actual people. And whatever clones were left worked for the Empire. It's like, I'm tired of this whole shit, and I'm tired of the Order 66, and I'm tired of, everything revolves around Order 66. No, not really. No, it doesn't. It only really affected the Jedi. It didn't really affect anybody else in the galaxy. Because at that point, you know, Palpatine was just like, well, the shit is technically the same for now. It's not the Galactic Empire just yet. You know, we're not taxing you just yet. We're not making you give us your ID cards yet. You know, he basically just made the Jedi look like the bad guys in Revenge of the Sith. He wasn't like, you know, execute ordering everybody. Because you gotta have a galaxy to rule over if you're gonna fucking take it over. What are you gonna rule if you just fucking wipe everybody out? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that's why Thanos' character's kind of dumb. I'm gonna wipe out half the universe. Idiot, don't you want to rule the universe? What the Nah.
Big old grimace fucking bald head.
But like, I don't know, dude.
Yo, it looks like a purple shack.
Yeah. Purple Shack. That's a good one. But yeah, this whole them dragging out Order 66, making that like this thing that now I think it even showed up in the Maul series, or no, they play on that, they allude to it, because this Maul series is set after Revenge of the Sith, but the Empire already has the Stormtrooper prototype armor on, and but they're still using, oh no, maybe they're not using the Venator. I don't think they're using, no, they switched over to the Imperial Star Destroyers, I think. So, the problem is they're overusing this concept of, point of the story is this, okay? Everything Disney has released has not been great for me. It's all been just slop content, and it's just them shitting on everything that I cared about. Characters, stories, but you don't like it, then you're a racist, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're xenophobic, you're this, you're phobic. You're all these phobics. But yeah, what about story phobic? Am I that? I just want a good story. I just want a phenomenal series. I just want something that was similar to what we just got. You know, so here's the thing. That's why I'm doing this video, is that this show was actually semi-decent. I know, right? Like, that's a lot coming from me, but this show is semi-decent. And it kind of blew me away, because I'm like, is Disney starting to get it? Like, are they starting to finally understand people don't give a shit about the shit they were doing? Nobody cares about Rey, nobody cares about the sequels, nobody cares about Andor, Rogue One, nobody cares about, you know, these Reva, nobody cares about, you know, the Acolyte, where they're just, and that was another thing too, they took Plagueis, another character that somebody else created, and then put him in the Acolyte, and then they're like, here's the cock tease, and it's like, whoa, you can't just do that. Did you even talk to James Luceno about that? Nah, he's our character, we own the rights to him. Okay. Do you even know what he's like? Nah. Nah, he's a fucking peeping Tom. Okay. Yeah, nah, he's a pervert. Plagueis, the pervert. Get it? That's why they call him Darth Plagueis. He's a pervert. Get it? So it's like, alright, sure, just take a character that you didn't even create and put him in another series. Oh, guess who was behind that, Dave? So now we got this Devin Izara character, who's a female Twi'lek who's pink, right? And a lot of people, when this show came out, when the trailer for this show came out, they're like, oh my god, it's Darth Talon. Oh my god, they're finally doing George's episode 7, 8, and 9 that he was going to do. People keep saying that too. Oh, he was going to do 7, 8, and 9 with Darth Talon, and it was going to have fucking Maul come back as like a crime lord ruling the criminal underworld, the fucking crime syndicate. And he was going to be like the Godfather in Star Wars and all this other shit, right? But then but yet Darth Maul kills... I'm sorry, hold up. Dave Filoni kills Darth Maul off in Rebels. Basically, the minute Disney buys Star Wars. They bring, like fucking George literally tells him, hey Dave, we're gonna bring back Darth Maul. It's like, guess what? He just had a meeting one day at Skywalker Ranch. He just showed up and he's like, hey Dave, guess what? Are you clocked in? Good, get ready for this shit. We're gonna bring back Darth Maul. And Dave's like, can we do that, George? And he's like, fuck you mean? It's my universe. I can do whatever I want. Last time I checked, Obi-Wan just cut him down in half into a pit. He's not really dead, right? He didn't fucking, he didn't die. He's not dead. That's it. It's the same shit he said with Boba Fett, too. He was like, if I realized that, if I knew that the character of Boba Fett was going to be so popular, I wouldn't have killed him off. But people like Maul. People love Maul. Maul is top 5 Sith Lord of all time for me. It's probably top 3. Darth Maul is probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. The way he looks. His lightsaber. Just like everything about him. Go back. I've been going back and reading his Legends books. They're fucking phenomenal. Even the Lockdown one that people say is dog shit. That one's awesome. You get Maul in prison fighting shit. That book is about him fighting a Yuzan Vong in the opening chapter. Which, if anybody doesn't know this, the Yuzan Vong, they're not akin to the Force. The Force does not affect them. They go up against a Force user and it's like game over. You're done. Because the Yuzan Vong are the species that invades the Star Wars universe and almost wipes out half of it in the old lore. So he fights a Yuzan Vong and kills it. Then he fights a fucking Wampa and rips its heart out of its chest. Then he fights an Aqualish underwater. That's where I'm at right now. I'm at the part where he's in a cell. And they flood the cell, and he's pretty much underwater. He's got nowhere to go, nowhere to breathe, and he's fighting a fucking ballsack chin guy underwater. Bro. And then he's in the fucking prison. He takes control of, like, all the prison gangs in the prison. And it's basically like Maul's Shadow Lord. It's basically like him doing criminal underworld shit. And this book came out in, like, 2014. So Disney had already purchased, but they were still making the Legends novels at this point. They had already bought it, but for some reason they were still making... They weren't making them, but Lucas Books was making the Legends novels. Then you have the Shadowhunter novel, which takes place before Phantom Menace. And it's about him in the underworld. It's about him in this part of Coruscant, basically the underworld of Coruscant, and he's doing Terminator shit, and he's just killing fucking people left and right. Where Sidious is like, Maul, I need you to go kill these guys. They have information that must not be revealed. If they reveal this information to the Jedi, it could be the end of us. So he sends Maul to go take out these fucking snitches, basically, and Maul's basically just going around the underworld just wiping people out like the Terminator. It's pretty dope. So His books are phenomenal. His comics are phenomenal. Son of Dathomir. Then you have the Darth Maul comic from like 2002, I think it was, where he takes out Black Sun. And in that comic, he takes out the exact fucking crime syndicate that he eventually takes over. In the old lore. And, well, in the current lore, too. Now he's doing that in the current lore. But, yeah, look, George's whole thing was Anakin can have an apprentice. Ahsoka can exist. But you need to kill her off because it would make her downfall a lot more impactful. We can bring back Darth Maul, but then Dave goes and fucking kills her in Rebels. You know, there were so many things about the Clone Wars that I love. So many arcs, so many different episodes. There are episodes that are fucking fire, and then there are episodes that are just ass. Plain out, just downright ass. We can agree with that. I can agree with that, and I've said that, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with the Clone Wars because I grew up with it. I watched it every Friday night, and then they would have rerun episodes Saturday morning, so it was like back-to-back. Like, if I missed it Friday night, was it Friday night at 8? Then if I missed it, then I could watch it Saturday morning. It was a big part of my childhood. It was like the show that I always tuned into Cartoon. I was always watching Cartoon Network back in the day. Fucking Johnny Bravo, Samurai Jack, back when it was like tunes on tunes, like just fucking everything. Boomerang, Flintstones, the classic cartoons, and then when it became Cartoon Network and they had Codename Kids Next Door, Ed, Ed and Eddie, fucking, what else? Courage the Cowardly Dog. I even talked about that in the video. I grew up with late 90s, early 2000s Cartoon Network, and then once 2010 rolled around, there wasn't much on Cartoon Network anymore. Other than Clone Wars. Clone Wars was the only thing that was like actually like mind fucking breaking, where you're like, wow, this is a kid's show? This is on a kid's network? And other shit was being released at that time, like Adventure Time and Regular Show and all those like brain dead content cartoons where it's like, this is cartoons for kids? Like, these are cartoons? Not just for kids, but like Cartoon Network used to be cartoons for adults too. Like, there were a lot of cartoons for adults, you know, and then there you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this is just like, there's no dialogue, there's no plot, it's just characters fucking off 24/7, like, there's nothing going on. Where you got regular shows, a fucking bunch of anthropomorphic animals running a fucking golf course or whatever, or there's something, I don't know. What the hell? Like, they work for a bubblegum machine? Like, what the fuck is this shit? It was stupid. Just dumb shit. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there who grew up with that shit. But that was like right around 2010. And by that point, I was already like 11, 12. I was going through puberty, and I'm like looking for shit that's, you know, darker and fucking, you know, edgier and shit. And I'm like fucking playing more mature games and shit. Like, I'm not watching this cartoon shit anymore. You know what I mean? And Clone Wars got old with me. It was one of those shows that in the beginning it was like for kids, and then as the seasons progress, it progressively gets darker because you're getting closer to Revenge of the Sith, but you're also bringing back characters like Maul. You're doing all this like touchy subjects of like underworld shit and like the Hutts and all this stuff. They focused on a lot of shit. Bounty hunters. They brought Boba back. They brought, you know, they made him like a young kid who was just like a fucking angsty little teen who wanted to kill Mace Windu and all this other shit, and then he like created his own group of bounty hunters, and then they brought in the Mandalorians, but you know, they would go to fuck that up with the Mandalorian show. They were good as they were when they were introduced in Clone Wars, where it was, let's introduce Mandalore, let's have Pre Vizsla, let's have Bo-Katan, let's have all these different Mandalorian characters, and then after Clone Wars they kind of just ruined them with Rebels and the Mandalorian. But a lot of the stuff from Clone Wars I like. A lot of it I like. I love it. It's a great show. I know a lot of people don't consider it canon to the EU. I don't either. Here's the thing. You can enjoy a lot of different things that are Star Wars. Like, I don't have to consider it canon. I don't have to connect it to the original Clone Wars. I don't have to connect it to the Gendy series. I don't. I can take TCW and I can take the Gendy series and I can separate them both and I can go... I can decide, you know, I could just say that none of it's canon, honestly. If you want to get real technical about it, I could go, none of it's canon from the original 6. You got the original 6... Then you got TCW in its own universe. Then you got the Gendy series in its own universe. They can all be in their own universes. I don't care. I don't have to connect all of them. That's this thing, is that you got a lot of fans go about this shit where they're like, I need Star Wars to connect. I need it to feel connected, like with the novels did. The novels felt connected. Like all the novels felt like they connected to the movies and da-da-da-da-da. Even though they really didn't, because George didn't really acknowledge the novels all that much. He didn't really care about the novels all that much. He didn't really... he didn't care about the EU all that much. He never really gave a shit all that much about the EU. He was just like, my original 6 movies are canon to me, and that's that. You know, I don't read. I'm not a book guy, so I don't know what's going on in the books. He would just get involved with, like, you can kill off this character, and you can do this, you can do that, but that was pretty much it. Like, you can kill off Chewbacca. What? Yeah, go ahead, kill him off. We're gonna just call Starkiller, Starkiller. But I wanted to call him Darth Icky. You know what I mean? I think that sounded better, but whatever. We didn't go with Darth Icky. He was even the one, when they did the Maul game, when they were doing the Darth Maul game, he was the one who was like, let's put Darth Maul and Darth Talon together. And they're like, George, those are characters that are completely separate in 2 different timelines. Darth Maul's from... before the Phantom Menace. Darth Talon's like way after Return of the Jedi. She's like 130 or... Well, they just look cool together. You know, they got that Bonnie and Clyde shit going on. Okay. Make a game off of that, please. And then he sells the rights and then they cancel the game. Like, Red Fly literally gets the game pulled out from under them. And I'll make a video talking about that game in depth, because I really do want to. I really do want to get in depth with that game, and I want to do a whole stream talking about it. But because that game was actually, this show that they just came out with, Shadow Lord, has some elements of that game in it. It's almost like Dave is taking shit from the old ideas with the sequels and the canceled Maul game. It's like all the ideas that were going around before it was sold to Disney. Now Dave's taking all those ideas and going, this is mine now, and I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this. This is all my shit now. I'm going to take credit for this. It's like, no, bro. No, you can't just do that. You know, oh, they canceled a Darth Maul game? Oh, cool. I'm gonna take some ideas from that. Oh, George's 7, 8, and 9 sequels with Darth Talon and Darth Maul. Oh, cool. I'll take that and use that. Cool, man. Shit. You know, I don't hate Dave's guts. I don't have nothing against him. But the problem with Dave Filoni is people think like he's gonna save Star Wars. They think he's gonna just, you know, fix everything. He's not. He's been a part of this shit since the beginning. You know, he's the little minion that when Disney bought it, they're like, oh, guess what? George is gone, you can do whatever the fuck you want, basically. It's, you can do whatever you want. We don't care anymore. Just let us make money, that's all we care about. You know, and now he's having these meetings with these new execs from Disney, and they're like meeting with him like, yo, what the fuck? What have you been doing for the last 10 fucking years or however long you've owned? Disney has had Star Wars content since 2015. They've owned it since 2012. But they've only been making content for the past 10 to 11 years. Because they started with The Force Awakens in 2015. So in 2015 is when they started this content shit. They're like, all right, let's make 7, 8, 9. Let's make all these shows. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of them didn't even happen. There were so many canceled movies and trilogies. There was Old Republic shit that got canceled. There was so many directors were changed. So many different things going on. But they have had the brand for at least close to 15 years. At least. And they have shit all over. It took them literally 15 years, a decade and a half to just destroy a franchise. Where you go from, we bought a franchise that was $4.2 billion in market worth. And it just tanked and turned into, now it's like, who knows what it's even worth. I could probably buy it. That's how cheap it is. So, I mean... Yeah, I mean, if it's like $2, I could probably buy that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, dude, hey, anything's possible in this universe.
And just never touch it. Just buy it, $2.
Oh, if I buy it, best believe I'm not even gonna...
Just lock it in a vault.
No, if I buy it, people are gonna get what they want. You're gonna get characters, but here's the thing: if I buy it, it's gonna get real dark real quick. Like I'm gonna have Twi'lek strippers, people doing spice on tables, the whole 9 yards. It's gonna be, like Scarface in fucking Star Wars, pretty much. So, but I'll really lean into the underworld shit. But they've had 15 years of this franchise, and they've done absolutely really nothing with it. They've just released shit content, essentially, whether it's Disney Plus shows or major motion pictures. They're just fucking sinking money into shit and just like fucking burning money on fire and like flushing it down the toilet. It's like, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? None of this shit is succeeding. It's not quality content. It's quantity. They just like mass produce shit. Mass produce shit. It's like, is it good? Nah, fuck it. Just keep producing. That's all that matters. Just keep putting shit out. And it's like, but it's not good. Yeah, same thing with Marvel. It's like anything Disney gets their hands on, they're like, let's just produce shit to make fucking shit. Let's just make shit. But none of it's good. None of it has plot. None of it has characters. None of it has a story. None of it has anything. None of it goes anywhere. Avengers Doomsday. Same shit. Let's make Avengers Doomsday. Let's have Doctor Doom. Let's have all these fucking... Let's have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and fucking Hugh Jackman's X-Men. And it's like, why? Why? Who cares? It makes money, that's why. It's like, you're not coming up with stories. You're not adapting any of the comic books. You're not taking pages from comic books and adapting them to screen. You're just fucking taking random shit and throwing it at the wall and seeing if your crap sticks. It's like, let's see if my shit is like glue. Throw it at the wall. It's like, I don't know what you're doing anymore. I don't get it. Like all the other animations from Star Wars, like I said, Bad Batch was fucking mid, like trash. Fucking the Tales series, Tales of the Empire was garbage. Tales of the Jedi was, the only good episodes from that was the Dooku stuff when they explored Dooku as a character and why Dooku turned to the dark side. Other than that, the Ahsoka episodes, I didn't need that shit. I'm so sick and tired of Dave, like, with all the Ahsoka shit. She's a badass. She one-hits this Inquisitor. Inquisitors shouldn't even exist. The Inquisitor shouldn't exist. And this Maul show just confirmed that for me, because the character who's in it in the final episode basically showed me that, like, I don't need fucking Inquisitors. He does the job. What do we need Inquisitors for? We keep having these Inquisitors and all these fucking things, and Inquisitor. We need 50 million Inquisitors to hunt down the Jedi, because there's a whole bunch of them left. The problem I have with the Disney canon and the Disney Star Wars is they keep having all these Inquisitors, and then they keep having all these Jedi who survived Order 66. How many Jedi survived? At this point, the amount of times they have used Order 66 and the amount of Jedi that have survived, it's like, does it even matter anymore? Like that whole scene in Revenge of the Sith where you're like, damn, this is tough to watch. You watch all the Disney Star Wars content and you're like, well, apparently that didn't do the job because you got 50 million Jedi still running around. There's every single Disney Star Wars thing, there's a Jedi that survived Order 66. That's their backstory. I survived Order 66. I survived. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna create a universe too, and we're gonna say, then we're gonna have COVID, and then we're gonna say, well, these characters survived the events of COVID, and it's like, what? It's like you have this huge ass plague, not plague, but like you have this purge. It's called the Jedi Purge. That's what it was originally called, because Palpatine's whole plan was to wipe out as many Jedi as possible, so that they wouldn't try to inflict on him and Vader's rule of two. They wouldn't mess with his power. He wanted to get rid of as many as possible so that they wouldn't take him out, because they would be a threat for his new empire. But with the new Disney Star Wars, it's like they keep doing all these Order 66 things and all these projects. Man, fucking Grogu survived Order 66. Ahsoka survived it. Who else? Reva. We got... Somebody else did, too. I don't even fucking remember at this point. Oh, the Bad Batch did. Kanan survived. And all this shit. And it's like, who cares? This many Jedi should not have survived. They should all have been wiped out. And the ones that haven't, the few that are left, should be taken out by Darth Vader, because that's who took them out in the original lore, in the original books, in the Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader book, in the Dark Times comics. Who is the one taking them out? Vader, because there weren't many of them left. It was just Vader wrapping shit up. That's all it was. But now we gotta have Inquisitors. Now we gotta have like 50 million Inquisitors. Gotta have the 10th brother, the fucking 15th sister, the 80th father. We need to have all these fucking Inquisitors. And then we need to have another Jedi who survived Order 66. This Master Dodaki Dudu. Whatever the fuck this character's name was. Now we got a dinosaur Jedi. Which I think his species was actually the guy that was in this show, Devon's master. Oh, by the way, Tales of the Underworld, that was shit too. I don't care for that. But just about everything, every animation other than this show that they have, just about everything they've released, period, up until now. It's like they released this show, 10 episodes, dark, Darth Maul. We're going to continue the story of Darth Maul after the Clone Wars, because in the Clone Wars, Sidious killed Savage and imprisoned him, and then you got the Son of Dathomir comic and blah, blah, blah. That would have been a great note to leave it off on. If you watch Clone Wars and you skip Season 7, where he fights Ahsoka, and you just go from... You go to the episode where he fights Sidious, kills Savage, and then you go to this series, it actually works better. Because then you get like, you can ignore like the Order 66 shit, and you don't have to connect it to the prequels. You could just go, oh, he escaped Sidious's clutches, got away. Because you know he already has his own sect. You already know that Maul has his own Mandalorians and everything like that following him. You don't really need the Battle of Mandalore. But I don't know, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter at this point. But I like it better where I go Clone Wars Season 1 through 6. Then you go to this. But anyways, you get this dinosaur Jedi character, which I'm pretty sure his species was in the old expanded universe as well. This Dodaki character, whatever the fuck his name is. There are a lot of cool characters in this show. But like I said, I'm tired of the Jedi who survived Order 66. There's a Jedi, there's a Padawan, and in this show you get Devin, the female Twi'lek, and then you get her master, Jedi Dodaki, or whatever, the dinosaur. And then, but I like the character of Lawson in this show because it takes place on a planet similar to Coruscant, because it's like a city planet. I don't know what it was called exactly. I don't remember, because that's the thing. They keep setting these things on planets, and they're new planets, and like I have no desire to fucking care anymore. Like, it looks like Coruscant. At first I thought it was Nar Shaddaa. I'm like, oh, is this Nar Shaddaa? And then they're like, no, it's Janix or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's something like that. I think it's Janix. But it's another city planet. And you got these characters. You got a guy named Lawson who works for like a police force. And it's kind of like Judge Dredd almost. It's they're more of a, because you get the sense of like, wait, why hasn't the Empire took over? Like, if this takes place after Revenge of the Sith, where's the Empire at? And you get the sense that like this might be a separatist planet, because you have this public police force that they do majority of the, you know, they do like, they're like a ground force where they don't need the Empire. So the Empire kind of, I guess the Empire leaves planets alone. And then if you reach out to the Empire, then they just take over the planet at that point. Like, once you reach, that's the thing, is that I liked about this show is that the minute you reach out to the Empire, they're taking over. Like, they come in, they set up shop, they ain't leaving, bro. Once they take it over, that's it. Like, once they take shit into their hands, it's like when you call in like the military. It's like, once the military arrives, you know, might want to get out, because shit's gonna get real. So that, I did like that aspect of it. I like that aspect of the show where they made the Empire feel very dreadful and very like, don't do that, you don't want to do that, you don't want to reach out to them, you don't want them taking over, you don't want, like, they very leaned into the aspect of the Empire. Once you call them, that's it. They will completely control everything. And I like that aspect where it was almost like a sense of dread, where like they're like, don't do that, don't do that. And then when Lawson's droid partner calls the Empire, he's like, what the fuck did you just do? Because he's going after Maul, but then he's like, is Maul really a bad guy? And then like his droid partner's like, well, you're not catching Maul. Because in the beginning of the show, they're having like this underworld crime battle. You got these gangsters going after each other. You got the little midget species guy. He's not a midget, but he's like a little alien, tiny guy. And he's actually the species of the Jedi that you fight in The Force Unleashed. That one guy, I think it's the second boss fight, the guy who survived Order 66, right? Like one of the few Jedi that Vader sends his apprentice to go deal with in that universe. Like, none of this shit, honestly, to be honest with you, at this point, none of it's canon. Force Unleashed isn't even canon, so it can be look, whatever you want to be canon, you can consider canon. You know, at this point to me, everything's just fucking up in the air. It's like, I don't even care anymore. I don't really care what's canon and what's not anymore at this point, because all I know is like the Disney shit, it's hard for me to mix in, because a lot of it, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, that totally contradicts the original trilogy. It totally like shits all over A New Hope and everything like that. So, but yeah, this show, like, you have underworld shit going on, and there's a bunch of like gangsters killing each other, and they're having like, you know, basically deals gone bad and shit like that. And so there's like turmoil in like the underworld aspect, and they really lean into the underworld aspect in this series on this planet of whatever the hell, I totally forgot. Janix, I think is what it's called. I don't know. But you got underworld shit going on, and Maul's slowly intertwined in all this because he's trying to take over and reclaim the criminal underworld. Because during Clone Wars, that's what him and Savage did. Was they were going around to different planets. They went to Tatooine and talked to Jabba. They went and they talked to Black Sun, and they talked to Shizor's species, Prince Caesar. They were going around all over the place. They talked to the Pike Syndicate. They did all this shit. All the crime syndicate, underworld bosses and everything like that. They were going around dealing with them. That scene where Savage throws the lightsaber and cuts off all the heads of the Black Sun and everything. He took over the Black Sun. He took over the crime syndicates. But in this series, he's reclaiming that power because after Clone Wars, pretty much the galaxy is basically up in the air. Like, all the fucking factions are pretty much, you know, scared because they got the empires everywhere now. You got this new regime. It ain't the fucking Republic anymore. You've got all this stuff going on. So the syndicates are in turmoil. The different crime factions and shit like that. So they're all just killing each other and shit like that. So Maul's trying to reclaim all that. So like I said, I don't have to watch Clone Wars Season 7. To me, I don't think it's canon. I don't consider it canon. The whole 7th season was just that was just a thing where they're like, we're bringing back Clone Wars, and then they did like one season. I was expecting them to do like at least 5 more seasons of it. I was expecting them to do like tons of episodes, continue the whole series, but then they just did one season and then they wrapped it up, and they're like, you know, and then Dave was like, oh, well, Ahsoka's gonna survive, and it's like, but George told you to kill her off, and he's like, well, I got other plans for her, we're gonna have her own show, and it's like, no, Dave, you were supposed to kill her off. That's what George wanted for Anakin Skywalker. No, I'm gonna just make her have her own show where she crosses her arms and she's a boss bitch 24/7, and that's gonna be that. So it's my world now, bitch. It's my universe. That's his whole logic. That's why I have problems with him. And that's why I don't think he's gonna save Star Wars. I think he's just doing his own thing, and he's just like, it's my universe now. They're my characters. I can do whatever I want. And that video that they had where he was talking after they had a showing of the show, after they had a viewing of this series with Maul, he's sitting there, he's talking about the character of Vader, like, well, this is he's no longer Anakin, he's killing what's left of Anakin. Like, he's talking about Vader like he understands the characters like the back of his hand, like everybody else does on YouTube. And it's like, Dave, you're just saying what other people on YouTube say. It's like, you didn't kill off Ahsoka because you had this character that you created with George, supposedly. But then George told you to kill her off, but then you're like, well, no, I don't want to kill her off because I want to do whatever I want. You can't just do whatever you want, Dave. Like, that's not how it works. It's like, if you want to adhere to George's vision, you know, you gotta basically, you gotta live up to what you, like, basically you gotta execute what he told you to execute, basically. Like, you gotta carry out the plan. You know what I'm saying? You can't just half-ass it and go, no, well, I don't want to do that. It's my character. It's like, no, bro. She had to die. She had to go. You know, or, you know, you could have just left it the way it was, where she leaves the Jedi Order. But when she comes back in season 7, then you're like, well, what the fuck? Then why does Anakin turn? If she would have stayed out of the Order, if she would have just left and then that was that, that would have been like, Anakin's like, fuck. You know what I mean? Or if she died, fuck. But then she comes back, and then Anakin gives her the 2 blue lightsabers, and they meet right before Revenge of the Sith, and it's like, okay, then why did he turn in Revenge of the Sith? If she was one of the main key factors, then why did he still turn? Because she wasn't. She wasn't one of the key factors. The problem was that he just wanted to write his character into an existing universe. He just wanted to tie his little fan fiction into an existing story. Well, I want to tie it into a movie that already exists. It's like, well, you know, she should have died. She should have been killed off, or they should have just had her leave the Jedi Order, and that was that. That's how it should have ended. But like I said, if you want a watching order to watch this shit, I prefer you watch it season 6. You watch if you're gonna watch Clone Wars, all 6 seasons to where they canceled it, because that's basically when Lucas owned it. Is 1 through 6, just like the movies. Same thing with the seasons of Clone Wars. Seasons 1 through 6 is when George was involved with Clone Wars. After that, then they went over to Netflix, then they sold it, then Disney got their hands on it, then Disney Plus got it, and then they're like, well, guess what? We're doing a season 7, because we got to capitalize off of those fans. And it's going to tie into Revenge of the Sith and wrap shit up, and then that's it for Clone Wars. It's like, we're bringing it back, guys, for like, how many episodes? 13 episodes or some shit? And then that's it. Then we're going to do a Bad Batch. And we're going to do Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of this, Tales of my ass. We're going to do all these animation shows, and it's like, why? I don't know. Just to fucking do shit, just to have more Ahsoka episodes where she's one-hitting Inquisitors, you know, because she's a badass. It's like, whatever. Ahsoka was fine in seasons 1 through 6. There was an arc. She felt failed. She felt let down. She felt that Anakin let her down. She felt that the Jedi Order had let her down. Anakin felt that the Jedi Order let her down, which would have made his downfall even more impactful. But when she comes back in season 7, he's like, Ahsoka. So he's like, hey, coming back, right? It's like, if you would have just left it where he felt let down, that the Order let her down, that the Council not only failed him, but her and him, failed him and his apprentice, makes his downfall even more impactful. But then in season 7, she comes back and he's like, hey, Snips, here's your lightsabers. They're blue now. And oh, now I gotta go rescue the Chancellor with Obi-Wan. Okay, have a good time on Mandalore fighting Maul. Wait, what? Oh, why wasn't that mentioned in Revenge of the Sith? When it, like, the opening in Revenge of the Sith, that's General Grievous' ship, Master. Oh, by the way, we're gonna go help Ahsoka on Mandalore with Darth Maul. The fuck are you talking about, Anakin? I cut Darth Maul in half, like, fucking 10 years ago, or whatever the fuck. None of that was mentioned in Revenge of the Sith. Oh yeah, Maul's around, still, somewhere, with robot legs. Nope. Nope. You know, and that was the thing too. Before they created season 7, his whole, like, Sidious was like, I'm not gonna kill you, Maul, but I have more plans for you. And he, like, continues to electrocute him and shit after he just killed Savage. So, like, it would have been good to know that, like, that would have been a good place to leave it off of as well. where, like, Maul's fate was kind of unknown. Ahsoka gets, you know, basically ostracized, and basically she gets thrown out of the Jedi Order. She gets expelled. And, you know, all the... It would have just made more sense to leave it off on a... Not cliffhanger, but, like, off of, like, everything's shit. Because after that, things go to shit. In Revenge of the Sith. Like, Clone Wars Season 7 just makes shit seem like it's optimistic. Like, you know, like, Ahsoka's gonna go back and, like, all this other shit. It just would have made more sense if Maul's fate was unknown, if Ahsoka's fate was unknown, or if they just killed her off. And, like, Anakin's itching closer and closer to the dark side. He's basically there. It's just like one more nail in the coffin, and then that's pretty much it. But no, we have to have Season 7. We have to have the episodes with him in the Bad Batch. We have to have him and Ahsoka meeting up one last time and having a kumbaya. And it's like, so then why'd he turn? If Season 7's canon, why'd he turn? I don't know. I don't justify Season 7. I don't like it. I don't care. It's just one of those Disney marketing things where they're like, the sequel sucked ass, so let's see what else we can milk. Then they started doing all the live action shows with the Obi-Wan, Acolyte, all this shit. Andor, you know, all of it. Ahsoka. And that was the thing too. I was a little optimistic about Ahsoka because I'm like, oh, and then they did the Anakin flashbacks with the Clone Wars, and it was just all it was fan service. That's all it was. When there wasn't a story and there wasn't like actual plot, it was just fan service. And Ahsoka was just, let me take my character that I created and give her her own story and this and that, and I don't know, I'm checked out at this point. But what I liked about the Maul series was that this took me back to Clone Wars Season 6 because it felt like I didn't need to know everything else. It felt like I didn't need to watch everything else. I didn't need to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. I didn't need to watch The Acolyte. I didn't need to watch Andor. I didn't need to watch Tales of, you know, my asshole 4, 5, and 6, whatever the fuck it is. You know, 1, 2, 3, Tales of... I just can't even name... That's how many of them there are. That's a problem. Can't you just have one series, Tales of, and do different seasons of different shit? Why does there need to be a Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Jedi? Can you just do one Tales series, please? There was a comic book called Star Wars Tales, and it just had different shit from different times. Just do that. Why you gotta complicate shit? And then the Bad Batch, I didn't need to watch that. I didn't need to watch Clone Wars Season 7 to understand where Maul's been. He's just been in the gutter. He's just been rotting. He's trying to rebuild and trying to reassess the underworld and trying to get a feel for what the environment's going to be like, because now you're in the dark times. I understood that. I didn't need to watch Clone Wars Season 7 to watch him fight Ahsoka. To watch him escape. I already knew he escaped Palpatine's clutches in the Son of Dathomir comic. If you read that, you know he gets away. And that's where he's at in this show. So you can basically watch Clone Wars Seasons 1 through 6, read the Son of Dathomir comic, because to me that's actually canon, because that was actually published by Dark Horse when George owned it. So you could fucking literally, you could watch Season 1 through 6 of Clone Wars, then you can read the comic, and then you can watch this, and it's basically flawless. Like, you basically get a congruent story. You know where he's at. Like, he fought Sidious with Savage. Savage got killed. Then he got captured by Sidious and Son of Dathomir. And his mother got killed by Grievous. I think it was Grievous, I believe. Count Dooku might have done it, too. He might have had a hand in that. I'm pretty sure it was Count Dooku and Grievous, but I don't remember. Or it might have been Sidious. I don't really know. All I know is that his mom died. And Sidious was definitely responsible for that. So Sidious killed Savage, and Sidious killed Mother Talzin. And then he's in captivity, and he gets away. And that he gets his sector of the Mandalorians and all the Zabraks that Mother Talzin hooked him up with. And he gets away. And this show literally just picks up right after that. There's 2 Zabrak brothers. There's 2... Zabraks are basically his species. They look like him. They got the horns, they got the paintings, they got the tattoos, all that shit. So there's 2 Zabrak brothers that work with him, and then there's the Mandalorian sect. So like I said, you could basically continue it right after the Son of Dathomir. You don't have to watch Clone Wars Season 7 to know what's going on. You don't have to watch any of the other shit. You do not have to watch anything Disney has made Star Wars, period, for the last 10 to 15 years. You can literally just watch Clone Wars Seasons 1 through 6, like the box set that I have, the DVD box set. Then you could read the Son of Dathomir comic and watch this. And it's flawless. It picks up right where it needs to. It maps out where he's at. It explains where he's at as a character. It shows you what he's doing. And that's that. Like, you don't need much more backstory. They even explore more of his backstory in this. Like, Sidious was the reason he is the way he is. He even says, like, I'm a victim. Like, well, he doesn't say it, but he's like, basically, like, this is his fault. I am the way I am because of Sidious. The hatred, the revenge, the why am I so evil? Why am I so fucking, like, tainted by the dark side? And it's like, Sidious did this to me. He took me from my family. He took me from my mother. He killed my brother. He killed my mother. He's responsible for all of this, and he even says it. He basically comes to the realization of, like, Sidious did this to me. He took me, used me like a puppet, and destroyed my life and turned me into what I am now. Kind of like what he does to Anakin, he does to Vader. So they expand it. They show, like, him leaving the Zabrak village, Savage and him when they were young, the training that he went through, and realizing that Sidious basically turned him into a fucking, like, a pawn. And when I go back, like the Maul book I'm reading right now, Lockdown, they explore that. Now that's from the Legends novels. And what I like about this show is they're exploring his Legends backstory. Of, like, Sidious was a piece of shit as a master. Like, he was a total prick and a real dick. And he basically just used Maul as, like just like a fucking puppet. Like, he basically was like, you know, like, they even explore it in the books that, like, the training was gruesome, the amount of torture he endured, the amount of shit he was put through, the amount of, just for him having the ability to fight all the things that he's fighting in the book. The Wampa, the fucking Yuzan Vong, all these different things he's just killing left and right, and he's like a weapon. They even have a nickname for him in the book. It's called the Tooth. Or, yeah, I think that's what they call him. They call him the Tooth because he's, you know, shaped like a tooth. Upside down, I guess. I don't know. But, like, basically, he's, you know, he takes control of, like, majority of the gangs in the prison, and it's kind of like a prequel to what he would go on to become after his resurrection, after they bring him back. Like, Maul has this type of personality where he can take control of a scenario and he can literally make it his own. Like, he can take control of groups and you know, he can get people together and like actually control like groups and shit. And they do it in the books too. Like, it's in the books. Like, he's very intelligent. Like, Maul is not one of these characters that's like very stupid and like, you know, I'm just here to kill. Like, no, he's very he's smart, intelligent, you know. So people don't understand him from that standpoint. Is that when we saw him in the Phantom Menace for the first time, he spoke one line of dialogue and people were like, wow, fucking badass, man. Sith happens, man. Instead of shit happens. Oh, man, he's fucking cool, man. He's metal. But he's even more complex. And Clone Wars expanded that. And then all the books they did on top of that just adds more to the character. And you get that in this series. This series expands it even more. And you get more backstory into his character of like, yeah, Sidious just used him. Palpatine used his ass. In the Plagueis novel, Plagueis and Sidious are basically like, yeah, he's just an assassin, right? Meanwhile, Sidious is like, I'm secretly gonna kill Plagueis. Like, it's like this triangle of like, they're all trying to kill each other. So you got Plagueis is trying to kill, and in the book I'm reading right now, he's actually Maul Lockdown. Plagueis is in it, and he's a actual like big role in it. Like, he's got like a pretty good role in it, where he sends another Mun from the banking clan, the ISB or whatever it's called, the IBS. No, that's irritable bowel syndrome. I'm sorry. I think it's the IBC, the Intergalactic Banking Clan. I think it might be IBC. But Plagueis, whose alter ego is Hugo Damask, whatever you want to call it, Hugo Damask, whatever. The name he uses when he works for the banking clan and when he's, you know, not Darth Plagueis, he sends another Mun by the name of, is it Visso Slifer? What? Nah, she would text me if they were. Or it's Visso Sliffer, whatever the hell his name is, I don't remember. No, they're not. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta... Yeah. His name's like Veso Slifer or Veso Sliffer or whatever. I think it's Viso Slifer or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, he's basically Plagueis. So Palpatine sends Maul to the prison. I don't want to talk about Maul Lockdown. I'll review the whole book when I finish it, and there's going to be an in-depth review. But this is just a quick tidbit. Palpatine sends Maul to the prison to find this guy, and I'll make it quick, but he's just there on a personal mission from Palpatine. So Maul sends Palpatine sends Maul. I'm sorry, I'm all fucked up now since you told me that. So now I'm like, are they home? Blah, blah, blah. But Palpatine sends Maul on this mission for him to do a bidding for him. And he's like, go do this for me. It's a secret mission, blah, 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 blah. Because Palpatine was always doing that shit behind Plagueis' back. He was always doing these missions and secret little things and having Maul go and doing this. Because Palpatine was secretly getting ready to turn on Plagueis. But what you don't know about Plagueis is that Plagueis is steps ahead Palpatine. The master's always ahead of the apprentice. So Plagueis sends this other dude from the banking clan to the prison to keep an eye on Maul. And he even tells Palpatine, oh, by the way, I have an agent. Like, Plagueis literally flat out tells Palpatine, like, I'm spying on you. Like, I have a fucking, like, I literally have a bug in the prison. Like, I have, like, an agent that you don't know about. And, so yeah, that's that, basically. But, yeah, once I finish the book, I'll get into it more in depth. But that book also goes back into it goes back into Maul's past. And I get, when I'm reading that book, I'm getting a little bit of, that's why I went back and read that book. And I'm going to do Shadowhunter next. Because it's filling in the backstory of what I just saw from Shadowlord. Of, like, they're just expanding his relationship that he had with Sidious, and it wasn't great. It was like this very transactional relationship. It was like, go do this for me, do my bidding, and that's pretty much it. You know, and basically, I took everything from you, and I will continue to take everything from you and turn you further and further to the dark side. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you're basically my slave, you're basically like my pawn, and that's that. And you get a lot of that in this series of, like, him, the Inquisitors basically that's the only thing I hate about this series. If they would have just cut the Inquisitors out completely, I would have been fine. But I see why they put them in this show, because they actually serve a purpose. They can't take him on. And by the end of the series, by the end of the season, you see why. Because he teams up with Jedi Dodaki and his apprentice. And that's another problem I have, is 2 Jedi who survived Order 66, a Jedi and a Padawan. But whatever, I see why they put them in it. Like, I understand why they put 2 Jedi in it. I understand why they let them survive Order 66. I also understand why they put 2 Inquisitors in it. Did I need the 2 Inquisitors? Not really. You could have just put Vader in this, spoilers, and it would have worked. You could have just left the 2 Jedi, I'll let that slide. I'll let it slide. 2 Jedi survive Order 66, a Master and a Padawan. And the Jedi Master actually looks like a character from the EU. Looks like someone from the Dark Time comics, so I'll let it slide even more. Jedi Dodaki looks like, you know, a character from the Dark Time comics. So I'll let that slide. But the Inquisitors, I don't know. Yeah, they need to hunt the Jedi, but, like, you didn't need them. So the Lawson guy, he's like a police detective and all this shit. And he's like he's uncovering all of the shit that's going on in the underworld, and Maul's trying to take over power and this and that. So he tries to go after Maul. And then he realizes, oh, he's a pain in the ass. So then the droid that's Lawson's partner ends up calling in the Empire. And the Empire is basically like, you know, they're basically like, they show up, and you get a sense of dread. Like, you're like, oh shit. And, like, when they show up, it's an event. And they ain't leaving until someone's in captivity or dead. So then they send the Inquisitors after to see if they can go find Maul, and they find Maul like it's nothing. The problem is, like I said, I don't like the Inquisitors. It would have worked perfectly if this was just Vader. Like, if it was just Vader by himself, shows up on the planet, you know, boom, would have worked. But the Inquisitors, they drag it out, and the Inquisitors fight Maul, and then they realize, oh, we can't fight Maul because he's teamed up with Jedi, and this and that, and he's working with Jedi now. And Maul, the whole reason why he's teaming up with the Jedi, the whole reason why he's teaming up with Dodaki and Devin is because he has this... He already knows how it's going to play out. He has, like, a Force, like, vision of, like, my plan is coming to fruition. Soon I will have a new apprentice. Kind of like Palpatine did before Revenge of the Sith. Like, he's basically like, I'm going to turn Anakin, and I don't even have to do shit. Like, I've already planted the seed. Now I just have to watch it play out. So Maul does the exact same shit with this Devin character. He plants the seed, and he's already like, I already got an apprentice. Before she's even his apprentice. He's like, I already know how this will play out. Because the way shit is right now, the way shit is going, how the Empire is, who they are the real enemy, I will have a new apprentice soon. Like, I won't need to do anything, basically. That's basically what he's like. He's like, I'll let them speak for me. Like, I'll let the Empire show this girl that they're the true enemy. I don't need to do anything. So basically, that's what happens, is he basically lets her get torn down by the Empire. She watches a bunch of people get, you know, taken down and killed and all this other shit. And then, by the end of the series, you know, Vader shows up, kills just about, I think he only kills like 2 people, but whatever. I mean, again, the Inquisitors, they really, that's the thing, the stakes are high in this show, and they make it feel like that. Because they make it feel like the Inquisitors are this thing you can't escape. When in reality, it should be Vader. And it's actually not just the Inquisitors, it's the Empire as a whole. You can't escape it. Like, you can fucking run, but they'll be right on your ass, basically. That's what I liked about it. Is that it wasn't so much the Inquisitors that way, it was the Empire itself that way. Like, okay, we're going to send the Empire. Then once we send the Empire, then we're going to start sending out our agents. Then once we start sending out our agents and we start sending out our actual heavy firearms and like our heavy firepower, then we're going to start applying pressure. Then once we start applying pressure, we ain't letting up. Then once the pressure keeps coming, then we're going to send the big gun. You know, it was one of those things where, like, Maul loses his whole team. He loses the Zabrak twin brothers that were his, they worked for him. They both die. They both, like, basically self-sacrifice themselves. They pretty much, they go out like badasses. They both pretty much die for him. The Mandalorians, they all get killed off. Maul's right-hand Mandalorian, the side chick, whatever the hell her name, I don't even know. She's from Clone Wars Season 7, which, again, I don't even care about that. So I don't consider it part of my canon, so I don't give a shit. She dies off and she gets killed off, which is good. Basically, by the end of this, Maul loses his whole team. Maul loses his entire faction. He loses his entire group. The Mandalorians, the Zabraks, he loses his whole group. The only person that he is left with is Devon. And she is going to be his apprentice. Now, I've seen a lot of shit about this. When the trailer for this show first came out, they're like, oh, Darth Talon, Darth Talon, Darth Talon. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. This could be another Filoni-created character. Chances are that's what it is. That's what my speculation is. Because she's not red. She's pink. She has no tattoos. She doesn't show enough skin. Now, is there going to be a way they could change it to where she looks like that? Maybe. Maybe they do some Dathomirian witch magic on her or some shit. I don't know, some voodoo shit. Some Night Sister shit. I don't know, maybe. Like that shit they did to him when they brought him back. In, what was it, season 4 or season 5 of Clone Wars? Anyways, when Savage brings him back to Dathomir, Mother Talzin does that, you know, fucking voodoo shit on him, and it fucking restores his color. He's more vibrant. She restores his bottom half. Maybe they do something like that. Maybe Maul takes her to Dathomir, does some shit to her. Or, you know, she's got to get the yellow eyes, too. The Sith eyes. That's the thing. She has none of this. She has no Sith eyes. She has no red skin. She has no tattoos. She's got too much clothing on. I hate to say it. You know, it's not a sexist thing, but it's just what the character of Darth Talon looked like. You want to be honest? You want me to be honest? You want me to be accurate to the comic books, the lore, the old expanded universe? Darth Talon was a sexy, seductive, you know, that's who her whole character was. She was a seducer. She was all that shit. She was like, basically, that's it. She showed a lot of skin. She didn't wear much. She looked like Maul. She had the same skin pattern, same tattoos, same coloring, Sith eyes, the whole thing. She was just a Twi'lek. In order for Devon to become Darth Maul, she needs to... people are either calling her Devon or Devon. I think it's Devon. I think her name might be Devon, because that's more feminine, that's more female. Devon sounds like a dude. I work with a guy named Devon, so I don't think it's Devon. But Maul literally flat out says, Devon. So it's like, okay, I guess her name's Devon. Whatever. I don't know. I think Devon sounds more like a Sith name, but whatever. But Devon is basically just, like, to me, I think she's just going to be a Filoni-created character, just like Ahsoka was. I literally think it's just going to be another Filoni-created character where she's supposed to have a story, and a beginning and a middle and an end, but like Ahsoka, she's going to get drugged out, whatever you want to call it. Her story is going to get too big for her britches. I don't think she's going to become Darth Talon, but that's just me personally. I could be wrong. There's a high chance, big probability I could be wrong. Because like I said, in order for her to become Darth Talon, there's got to be a lot more corruption. He needs to corrupt her to the point where she has yellow eyes. She's going to have to really turn to the dark side. There's going to have to be some changing of the skin color. I hate to say it. She's going to have to do red face. You know, because right now she's pink. She's not fucking red. She's not the color that Darth Maul is. She doesn't have any of the black tattoos like he does. She doesn't have any of the... Like, the skin pattern's not the same. So something is going to have to happen. Unless her skin color changes as she ages, because right now she's a young Padawan. She's a young kid, teenager, whatever you want to call her. Maybe as an adult, she becomes more like him. I don't know. But that's not how Twi'leks work. Usually the skin color you're born with, that's the skin color you have as a Twi'lek. So, I don't know, man. And in the original expanded universe, Darth Talon came from the planet of Korriban. That's where she was raised, I believe. That's where she was trained. That's where she was in hiding with Darth Krayt. When Darth Krayt Ash Red Het assembled the Sith, was it the One Sith? And he created the One Sith, and they activated the... They were, not activated. What the hell's the word I'm looking for here? They operated out of Korriban, which in the old expanded universe was the Sith planet. Like, it was literally where Sith go to for shit. Like Darth Bane, Darth Revan, you know. A lot of the ancient Sith would go to Korriban for shit. I think even, what was his name? Exar Kun. But Korriban's not going to be in this, I don't think. I don't think they're going to do anything with Korriban. I doubt it. My best guess is this is Dave Filoni trying his best, even though people say he didn't really work on the show, but I don't know about that. I think this is Dave Filoni trying to attempt to see what he can do with George Lucas's sequel ideas. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, I think it's him taking ideas from different shit. I think it's him taking that canceled Darth Maul game, where Darth Talon was going to be in that as well. Like I said, George even had a meeting where he was like, they're friends, and he took 2 statues of both characters and he put them next to each other, and he's like, make me a game off of this. But it'll probably get canceled because I'm about to sell it to Disney. So, I don't know. Honestly, I think Dave's just taking ideas from old shit that got canceled. Basically, George's 7, 8, and 9. And the canceled Darth Maul game. And because George's plans originally for 7, 8, and 9 was to have Maul be, like I said, the big bad. And he was going to be like the crime lord and all this other shit. That's why they brought him back in Clone Wars. The idea was to bring him back in Clone Wars so that way it would make sense for him to return in the sequels. And now he's got a badass apprentice, and she's a sexy, seducing Twi'lek and all this other shit, and then they attempted a game and all this other crap, but that didn't happen. So I think this is Dave's way of going, oh, that never happened, these are my ideas now. But yeah, I gotta switch. It's hard to switch between George and Dave because they're kind of similar. But Dave is basically like, well, you know, now I gotta try to live up to George's his dream. I gotta try to make his dream a reality. The only way to do that is to steal the ideas of previous stuff that got canceled and make it my own. And say I came up with it, pretty much. It's my ideas now. It's my universe now. I can do whatever I want. So, they're my toys. My toy box. So Dave, when you put in Mara Jade in canon, well, why don't you just play with the toys I give you? How about that? Anyways, but yeah, so, yeah, that's what he said. He said, why don't you play with the toys that I give you? Because you act like a child who wants to have more toys. Listen, friend. That's putting it lightly. Look who's talking, bro. You're coming up with characters that are basically bastardizations of existing EU characters, and you're saying they're mine now. Thrawn. That's mine now. Yeah, you know, the character Thrawn, but you know nothing. You know who created him? Timothy Zahn. Not you, Dave. You know, Darth Talon. You know who created Darth Talon? John Ostrander. And Jan Buscema, or whatever his name is. Juan Buscema. John Buscema, whatever the hell his name is. Guy who did the art, who drew the comics for the Clone Wars and all that shit back in the Dark Horse days. John Ostrander wrote the stuff. He wrote the comics, and then Jan Buscema drew them. Those are the creators of Darth Talon, not fucking Dave Filoni. So, just like Timothy Zahn created Thrawn, and he also created Mara Jade, I love how people in this fan base want them to canonize these Legends or EU characters, but they have no idea what they're going to do to them. Because Thrawn is not Thrawn in Rebels and in Ahsoka. It's not the same Thrawn from the books. I hate to shit on your fucking parade. I hate to pee in your fucking Cheerios. But, truth be told, if you want a real Star Wars fan's opinion, you want an old expanded universe veteran opinion, you want a guy who's I've grown up with this shit. This is my religion. Okay? I've consumed this shit since I was fucking, like, 3. So, you want to sit here and tell me, hey, you know, I don't fucking... They can do whatever they want. Okay. Yeah, they can. They own it now. They can do whatever they want. But if you're going to sit here and tell me they're the same characters that are from the original expanded universe, you're wrong. Wrong. You're going to sit here and tell me that the Plagueis we got in Acolyte is the exact same Darth Plagueis from the book. Wrong. They are taking these characters that are from the old lore, and they're doing whatever they want with them. So, do I have faith in Dave? Not really. Do I have faith in Disney Star Wars? Not really. Do I trust them? Not really. Do I think they're going to make things that the fans want? Not really. Okay, well, Nick, well, what the fuck then? What do we do? Look, I don't know what to tell you. This show, if you're looking at it with the character of Maul, from that standpoint, it's good. But if you're going into this going, oh, I have high hopes for the future, she's going to be Darth Talon, he's going to have an apprentice, we're going to get 7, 8, 9, he's going to come back. No, he's not. And if he does, again, what are you doing? You already killed him off in Rebels. And it was literally Dave Filoni's decision to do that. So Dave killed off a character in Rebels, and now because the character's like, you know, people are like, yo, what the fuck? Why'd you kill Maul off? Now they're going to go back and go, well, maybe he's not dead. Maybe he did live past Return of the Jedi. Now they're even talking about retconning the sequels. They're talking about getting rid of it completely. They're talking about literally resetting the whole timeline with the world between worlds. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew it, because I'm like, the minute you introduce time travel, now they can change anything. And now they're going to use that as an excuse to say, well, the sequels never happened, this never happened, Luke Skywalker never went on an island and sucked titty milk out of a fucking cow or whatever the hell that was. Now we're going to give you what you really want. They got some serious kiss-assing to do, because the fans are not happy right now. And I'm to the point I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I like this show from a standpoint of the character of Maul. I'm not watching it going, oh, she's going to be Darth Talon, we're going to get the sequels, oh, there's hope, guys, kumbaya. No. There isn't. There's probably a good chance they're going to continue to do the same shit they're doing. Because there's a lot of course correcting they need to do. And right now they're tracking not so hot with Mandalorian and Grogu. That comes out like next week. And nobody's probably going to go see it. So, you know, Disney's in trouble. Star Wars is in trouble. So it's like they need to start setting shit straight. This series was the closest they got for me. Where I'm like, all right, you're on a somewhat decent path. You're headed somewhat in the right direction, but you have a lot of apologizing to do. You have a lot of course correcting to do. You have a lot of shit you need to fix, and a lot of shit you need to gut. completely. Like, you need to cut shit. You need to fucking get rid of shit. Enough of these shows, giving people shows that don't need shows. Enough of this streaming content. Enough of all this bullshit. Find something to stick with. Focus on one fucking thing. Whether it's a sequel trilogy, whether it's a fucking, you know, Old Republic trilogy, get as many good writers as possible. Get as many good production designers as possible. You need to get as much... These movies and these fucking TV shows, they shouldn't be having these budgets like they are, where you're spending shitloads of taxpayers' money on trash. Where it looks like fucking... I filmed it in my backyard. It's getting to become ridiculous. It looks like it's filmed on a fucking sound stage. It's like... Where are the high production values? It doesn't feel like Star Wars anymore. It just feels like the volume, where it's like, oh, we're just on a soundstage, and the background CG the whole time. It's like, that shit worked with the prequels. And those were fucking like 20 plus years ago. And those movies look better than fucking current shit. It's like, what, technology got worse? No. What are you doing? Where's the money going? That's my question. They got a lot of shit they need to fix. It's sad when the animation looks better than the fucking live action. Like, the animation for this show is phenomenal. This is the closest you're going to get to animation and live action. It's as real as it's going to get. Like, Vader in this show, like I said, spoilers, he's in it. He shows up, he kills Master Dodaki. Like the shit he does in the fucking EU comics. He shows up and he just fucks shit up. He didn't even say a fucking word. Vader shows up and starts killing motherfuckers, and the Inquisitors are just fucking around the whole time. That's why I'm like, why are they even in it? Should have just had Vader and it would have been perfect. Because he does what he needs to do. He didn't say peep. He was just fucking one-handed motherfucker. He was just taking people out like it was nothing. Going after Maul. You finally get to see the fucking Maul versus Vader fight people have been wanting. And it's like, yeah, Maul's not going to be able to fucking finish it. Like, Maul cannot take him. Plain and simple. It's not gonna happen. Vader's the new toy. You know what I'm saying? Old fucking Maul's the old one. Like, Maul's Palpatine's old apprentice. Like, he's used up. Vader's the new hot toy, you know what I'm saying? And he ain't even at his full potential. He's in a fucking suit. With robot limbs. So, yeah, I mean, look, a lot of this show was good. It's a step in the right direction. The problem is, Disney, you have a lot of course correcting to do. If you're watching this, which you're probably not, and... you know, whatever. If you are, stop taking what the fans say as offensive or racist or this or that or that. You need to be able to take constructive criticism. You want a good product? At the end of the day, you want to sell shit to people? You need to take constructive criticism. You need to take what fucking works and apply it. And whatever doesn't work, you either need to get rid of or you need to fucking fix. And right now, where you're at, You're in a fucking steaming pile of shit fest, because there's a lot of people who are pissed off, and I know your fucking whole, like, I know, like, the whole mindset of Disney and the studio and Lucasfilm. They're just, well, fuck the fans. Well, fuck them. They didn't vote left. Ah, well, look who president is. I'm tired of it. Stop using politics. Stop using race. Stop using identity. Stop using sexual orientation as a fucking victim card. Stop hiding behind these things. None of this shit matters, because what fans want, at the end of the day, is they want good Star Wars content. They want shit that's gonna be like, holy fuck, like, damn, Star Wars is back. They want fucking shit that's like, you know, well written, well directed, well produced, acting. They want actors that are actually acted and that are casted correctly for certain roles. Give me a no-name. Put him in a role. And if he's a fucking phenomenal actor, watch him ham it up. I do not need... Well, no, this character needs to be this skin color. This character needs to be this. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the skin color. I don't care about their fucking sexual... I don't care if they like vagina or penis. I don't give a shit. I don't care what the character does in their free time sexually. It does not fucking matter to me. What I care about is what the character... what their story is. What's the agenda? What's the goal? What's the fucking point of this person existing? What's the plot? Like Maul. Maul is now this complex character of, I was used. I'm literally like basically a puppet. I was used as a puppet. I had everything taken from me. I had my mother killed, my brother was killed, and my master trained me to be this Sith, badass, evil fucking assassin. And he just tossed me aside. Sorry, Mike. He just tossed me aside for a new apprentice. There's a story. Was that so hard? Oh wow, you finally figured it out. It took you that long. It took you 10 to 15 years to finally fucking come up with a story. We're like, what are all the other shows doing? What was that, just taxpayers' money down the toilet? Where it's like, oh yeah, we're working on this. How much was The Acolyte? Almost like a couple, wasn't it like $1 billion something or something? Something like that. It was a couple $1 million, maybe $1 billion was sunk into that, and then it got canceled. Because it was, that's how shit it was. Like, it was so bad, they had to cancel it after one season. And then they jangled the keys over everybody's head where they're like, look, it's Plagueis. Look, here's Plagueis. Sing, sing, sing. Hey, baby, who's Plagueis? Here's Plagueis. And then it's like, that's not Plagueis. It's just a fucking peeping Tom. Or they're like, here's Thrawn and Ahsoka. Jing, 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 jing. Jing, jing. Oh, wait. Oh, he's just blue Elon Musk? Oh, he's not actually a badass? Oh. Never mind. Oh, he's a soy boy? Oh, yeah, never mind. But yeah, I mean, what are you guys doing? At this point, it ain't even... I don't even want you to get characters from the EU. Don't even touch Dash Rendar. Don't even touch Darth Krayt. Don't even touch Cade Skywalker. And a lot of people are saying that might be a thing now, too. Ryan Gosling's new Starfighter movie, he may end up being Cade Skywalker. Nah, bro. Don't even touch it. Don't even touch it. Don't even touch Darth Bane. Don't even touch the Old Republic. Don't even fucking touch any of this shit till you can prove to me that you can write well-written stories within the existing lore that you've already established. This show did that. If you take the Inquisitors out, it's pretty good. You get Lawson, who's like this cop character. He's got a son. His wife works for the Empire. They're divorced, blah, blah, blah. He tries to be there for his kid, but then he's got to do his job at the same time. But he's like, he's kind of like it's kind of like an 80s, 90s cop, whatever. He's got like the mustache, and he's, likes his coffee and all this shit. And then he's working with a droid who thinks he's doing the right thing, but he's doing the wrong thing. And then he realizes, well, maybe I need to do the right thing. You actually get a droid who becomes human, sort of. Then you get, Dodaki and Devin, they're just fucking Jedi and Padawan. That they're your average, we survived Order 66. So, but the whole point of their character is Dodaki is there so that he can get killed off by Vader at the end, and Maul can take Devin and get his own apprentice finally, so that, because that's what he has. That's the vision that Maul has at the beginning of the series, is like everything will come to fruition. The true enemy will be revealed to her. She will turn to the dark side, and I will get what I want. Because like my dad said, he said it pretty well. Maul's just playing possum, pretty much. He got what he wanted. Like, he's, you know, playing dead, and I'm crippled, and woe was me, and then when the time strikes, boom, he gets what he wants. Like, he's not gonna do the right thing. He's not a good guy. He's a bad dude. But he's trying to survive. Like, there's no going back for him. He's already corrupted. He's already, like, he cannot be redeemed. So the only thing he can do is basically survive at this point. So it's where his character's at. You know, he's not going to turn back to the light. So, but I don't know. Like, people are like, Dave Filoni's going to save Star Wars. Dave Filoni. It's like, I don't really have faith in him, because he'll take EU characters and then he'll say, these are mine now. And then, you know, they're not even the characters from the books, or they're not even... They're not the same. How many EU characters have we gotten so far? Like 3? Well, 2, flat out. This is kind of like, she ain't there yet, but she may be. Like, people are like, she might be Darth Talon. And it's like, probably not. I hope not. Because I hope not. Look, I want it to be. Because that old EU fan in me is like, oh, I would love to get her so bad. But then, like, but then I see what they do with all the other ones, and I'm like, oh God, no, please, because it's not going to be the same. Not going to be the same. She's not going to dress the way she dressed. You kidding me? Disney's too fucking prude for that shit. They're too prude for that shit. But, hey man, they're not prude when they're teaching kids about, you know, stuff kids shouldn't be learning about in school. They'll stick up for the... Disney's the type of company, they're too prude to make a female character sexy, seductive, dress scantily clad. But then this is the same company who will back schools when schools want to teach children about butt sex and fucking, you know, stuff like that. So, it's coming from the same company. And it's the same company who says the fans are racist, but then they remove John Boyega off of the poster of The Force Awakens in China so that they can cater to the China release. Because Chinese people are racist. So, but, so in order to save face, they remove a face off of a poster so that China doesn't have to have it on their poster, so that China can market the movie. Okay, sure, yeah, no, that's not fucking racist, no. So, but on their way home, alright. So I'm probably going to end it soon. I'm just going to continue to ramble on until they get home, but yeah, guys, I don't know. I mean, right now, the future of Star Wars is uncertain. All I know is that the new execs at Disney, the new people, the new head of Disney, which is like 3 different people, they met with Dave Filoni. They had a little get-together. And anybody who works at a job knows that when the head of the company shows up, you know, you fucked up. Just like Vader showing up at the end of this show. You fucked up. The Inquisitors weren't doing the job. Well, Boss Man showed up. They fucked up. Somebody wasn't catching Maul. The cops on Janix weren't catching Maul. The Empire couldn't catch him. The Inquisitors couldn't catch him. You fucked up. I gotta send the boss now. So, you got the Disney execs showing up at Dave Filoni's doorstep going, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Hey, you thought about retconning the sequels? Because you might want to consider it. You may have a lot of fixing to do. You may have a lot of auto mechanicking you need to do. Like, you got a lot of shit you need to fix, bro. They showed up and they were like, yo. What, you just thought we were showing up for lunch? To have lunch? You thought we showed up to Lucasfilm to have lunch? Fuck no. Hell no. We're here to talk business. Stocks are down. Merchandising's down. Nobody's buying toys anymore. Nobody's buying Star Wars merchandise anymore. Star Wars as a stock, Star Wars as a investment has plummeted. The fuck you been doing? What have you been doing in this train? Where you been taking this train this whole time? 10, 15 years you've been riding this train. Where's it going? When's it stopping? You know what I mean? The execs, these new people, it's not Bob Iger anymore, bro. This shit ain't sliding. The company politics. When you get new bosses, shit changes, hierarchy changes. There's no Kathleen Kennedy to defend your ass anymore. She's gone. So if Dave is now assistant president or whatever the fuck, because he hasn't been assistant president for the last 10 to 15 years, he pretty much let everything that's been happening happen. So, and I think the whole reason this show was good was because Sam Witwer was involved. I really do. I think if Sam Witwer wasn't involved, I think that if they didn't have like a development team that actually gave a shit about this character, this show would have been dog shit. It would have been like soy content. It would have been ass. The only reason this show was good was because Sam was involved, and the animators and the production and the little team that was working on this. Hats off to you guys. This was phenomenal. Like I said, my little gripes, like the Inquisitors and everything like that, that's just a old EU thing for me. That's the old fan in me where I'm like, I don't need that shit. I'd much rather prefer Vader doing that shit. But other than that, you guys kind of did a really good job with it. So hats off to whoever's, you know, working the animation department on that show, because it's pretty damn good. Like I said, it's about as close to live action you're gonna get at this point. This shit is better than the live action, and it's fucking not even, it's animated. So the animation's peak finally from what it was, and it used to, and that's what George's whole goal was to have eventually make it to where the animation increasingly got better, and it finally got to that point where it's pretty much where it needs to be. So, yeah. I mean, look, I want to hold out hope, but the Sith in me is telling me that, like, I don't know. We will have revenge. That's what the Sith in me is telling me. The fans will have revenge. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, look, do I want it to be Darth Allen? Somewhat. But the other half of me is like, not really. Because I just don't have faith in them. It's like giving the keys to your car to someone who doesn't know how to drive, and you're in the passenger seat. So that's not that's a pretty good analogy. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is that I think there's probably going to be some change, and that's that. Peace out. Have a good one. Take it easy.